So earlier I was speaking about the leaky butt joint of the T&G ceiling as opposed to one that we just sealed. This one was letting through an incredible amount of air before as well, had about an 1/8 inch gap like the one adjacent to it. I'm going to take the smoke pencil here and you see there's no air leakage, but a juxtaposition would be this right here. See, again, smoke rapidly flowing from that penetration. That means there's an incredible amount of air leakage. So cumulatively, if you take into account all of these butt joints and put them together, that'd be a great amount of air leakage overall just for this room. Another area that we took care of, we spoke earlier of the chinks that were occurring in the log cabin, and areas where they were exposed to the exterior were specifically in these joints where windows meet the log cabin. Now in an area like this, not such a large issue, but if we go over here, use the smoke pencil, you can see there's a subtle amount of air leakage from these points. This one greater. So we'll be caulking this and maybe also chinking just for aesthetic purposes. Here's another one, rather minute, but you can see there is some subtle amount of air leakage from that area.
And what we're going to do is do that from the inside, because we did do a little bit on the outside and realized that the air can get in around the trim since it's not caulked and get into that cavity around the window and then find its way in through the check on the inside. So we're actually going to seal the inside in all these places.
And let's move out into the hallway area. One area I'd like to point out is again another gable end. Now this one is not exposed to the exterior or to the outside, but what it is exposed to is the attic, which again is unconditioned space and is being basically penetrated by all the elements of the outdoors: moisture, cold, wind. So any of those things you want to keep out of your living space. Although it is in the attic, it's ideal to create what's called a building envelope, which basically separates that unconditioned space, being your attic, to your conditioned space here, which is your hallway. So what we did is we chinked all along the top. You can see those rake beams where the log cabin meets the rake, or I'm sorry, the log cabin wall meets the rake. We chinked that, and what's really difficult to see, but maybe this might be a good area to show. Dan, do you have your flashlight on you by any chance? I do. Thank you. So I'm going to need a flashlight to show you this, but Marcus, if you could just come over my left shoulder right here. Alright, so right in here, you can see where we're foamed. We're going to cut this back, and if we need to, we'll add some chinking for aesthetic purposes. Very difficult spot to get to, but Dan air sealed this using our single component foam. And again, that was a major area of air leakage. Again, not coming from the outside, but coming from your attic space. Then we're going to come over here.
There's Dan.
I'm going to get up on this ladder. And Marcus, if you can get beneath me, I'm going to show you another area. Again, this is not exposed to the exterior in this area particularly, but your truss system in your attic. We're unable to get up to this area in your main loft space of your fireplace and great room because there's just simply no way to access it. It's just too tight. So what we did was we sealed it from beneath here. You can see the foam. Again, this is a major point of air leakage. Again, smoke pencil reveals that we've completely sealed this area, and the smoke is not moving quickly at all whatsoever. And then we look here at again, when different planes meet, tongue and groove, meaning this large rake beam here. You can see that we've clear caulked this. It hasn't dried yet, and I'll show you here with my smoke pencil. Again, we don't have air penetration. Again, this air is coming from your attic, not from the outside. But again, because your attic is exposed to the outside elements, this is a point that you want to air seal. And I'll show you right here. This has not been sealed yet with caulking. And you can see, you can't even see the smoke because it's moving away from that point so quickly.
Wow.
So again, you get to see the contrast
Wow.
of sealed and unsealed. Again, like the smoke's remaining there, you can't even see it coming out of here. And that's true for all the run, all the way down this rig. And I'm just going to come down this ladder and I'll show you one last spot.
Dan, while we're here,
This is Baccarat again. In the earlier video, we had a situation, we had a very wide gap that was too wide for caulk to span, and for aesthetic reasons we didn't want to use the expanding foam. So once again, I did this, place this Baccarat around here, above as well. This is a larger size Baccarat. Because we couldn't access behind there where the beam meets the tongue of the groove, instead I'm sealing around the beam. So I've placed Baccarat. I'll probably be caulking in some places, but this creates a very effective seal.
great.